Line, share, engage, interact. This is Newsfeed Now.
And a good Monday to you. Welcome to Newsfeed Now. 11 o'clock is your time, and hopefully you've got your alarm set, your cell phones, your iPads ready to tune in and watch. Over the weekend, severe weather swept through much of the South. Storms and flooding, a big issue. We have team coverage covering what happened over the weekend. We've got folks from Columbus, Mississippi to Nashville, Tennessee. We're talking a lot going on in that area. Right now, though, you see Alex Wood there on your screen. Alex has much more. Alex Love, rather. Alex has much more on what happened in his community.
Locals say it happened so sudden without warning.
When I look back outside, we look outside, that's when we see the trees on the trucks. You see, man, it looked like somebody came out here and you would have thought a giant ran all around through here.
With heavy winds and rain coming with it, some folks were left powerless with trees falling on homes, while others had their roofs torn off.
Bricks and stuff thrown from the other apartment up against my door. The winds got heavy and I just felt like the apartment was shaking. So I grabbed my granddaughter and ran into the bathroom and just told her to get down on the floor and let's pray.
On the northeast side of town, the First Pentecostal Church of Columbus had more than half of its building demolished by the storm.
This whole thing was gone. It was just all crumbled in. And so seeing that is just all open and it's a stone church. So, you know, it's just like overwhelming. And then the roof was gone.
Our church has been here since 1979. It's flooded one time, but never anything like this right here. It's just hard to imagine.
On what normally would be a day of service turned into a day of rummaging through piles of debris as people gathered what they could from their place of worship.
We have several local churches that's been helping, and they offered us some of their storage buildings. So what we could salvage, we've been packing up, and they've put it on trailers and put it in storage.
But despite entire walls and roofs destroyed, there was one item that remained in place, the stand where the pastor preaches.
All the debris around it, everything that was above it was crashed and destroyed, but the Bible stand was standing there, and I'm like, this is remarkable. How did this stay here and it not be blown away when everything else is?
All right, let's go now live to Columbus, Mississippi. Alex Love joins us now. And Alex, I know this was your first time covering tornadoes. Walk me through that feeling when you were there during the aftermath and you really saw what that storm did in that small community.
Well, it was really something. I didn't know what to expect because it was one witness told me it was like a war movie because when you walk through there, trees were completely blocking roads. Homes had their roofs completely torn off, and I saw two cars. They were completely smashed by bricks and cinder blocks that fell from a house. So it was you wouldn't have thought a tornado came through there if you had never been through it before. But that's the damage it can do. So it was really a situation that was so intense for a lot of people, and it came without warning.
Alex, what about your feeling though? You know, I've been in Joplin after the tornado there. I've been in the middle of Arkansas after a tornado in Valonia, Arkansas. It's a sinking feeling. It's a desperate feeling for us. For you, what was that feeling, that overriding feeling for you?
If I had to describe it, the feeling was just a lot of confusion. You just think, I just kept thinking, how could this happen? How does, wind suddenly turn into a cyclone this powerful? We're still trying to figure out, what category it was. But at the same time, I just kept thinking, how could this happen? And miraculously, when I found out only one person passed away, I just thought this was a miracle. I felt so blessed for those people and just couldn't be thankful enough that they were okay.
You know, the saying is desperate times call for desperate measures. And I'm sure as you talked to folks there, you understood the desperation, but also that feeling of America, that we come together to aid our neighbors when they need it. How much did you see of neighbor helping neighbor there in Columbus?
Well, I saw so much of that. We went to this one apartment complex where city workers were trying to cut down trees and get to cars, get people out of their homes. There were civilians right there helping them cut through branches to get them out of the way, people comforting one another. Then I went to this church, the First Pentecostal Church of Columbus. They had volunteers, they had members, of course, there trying to clean up. This church was completely demolished. half of it was completely gone. They had volunteers, though, come outside of their membership, and in return, the church baptized them right out front in just this mini pool they made. That was the community spirit I saw, and that was people pulling together.
Alex Love reporting live for us. Alex, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Moving north to Tennessee, one person died and a state of emergency has been issued because of widespread flooding. Nashville has had the wettest February in more than a century. The rain not only causing flooding, but mudslides are also damaging business. CB Cotton has more.
On Sunday, Tony Mayo heads out for a stress-free trip, but he's not sure about tomorrow.
As far as the main route that everybody goes, it's definitely I-24 East.
And part of that route is now covered with mud. The mudslide happened Saturday night and closed the eastbound lanes of the interstate. It's expected to create a traffic nightmare come Monday morning.
It's going to be shut down for who knows how long. It's going to be a mess just trying to get to Nashville every day, I think.
This mudslide is really going to affect commute on tomorrow morning, I'm sure.
David Alds also commutes into Nashville. He's already begun suggesting alternate routes to others who commute from the north into Metro.
We have 41A, which is Clarksville Highway, which goes into Bordeaux.
Even with alternate routes, some say the key is to plan ahead.
You're going to have a lot of traffic, so you know, if you're going to commute tomorrow, you need to leave extra early.
All right, CB, thank you so much. Chris Bungard joins us now. Chris, a little bit different, I think, than what Alex was talking about there in Mississippi. A completely different set of circumstances in Tennessee. First off, I want to take you to the social media video that I've seen of you. There was a washed out road. I'm assuming this was a town that couldn't get anywhere else, and you were doing an interview from one side of what became a makeshift stream to the other side where folks were stranded. Tell me about that.
Well, we were deep in the hollers of rural Moore County, Tennessee, literally hollering in the hollers, and I'm sure you've been through one of these situations where there's a roaring creek which ripped through this street. It's called Shelton Road, and actually it's kind of like a cul-de-sac. And this woman just came down with the neighbor's dog, and she was there she was FaceTiming me, and I was doing the same thing back at her just to find out how she was. But it's so loud with that rushing water, you get a kind of a bit of the power of the water. And there had, you know, this whole thing that hit Tennessee on Saturday and the rain over the last couple of weeks, I mean, it's been very scattershot. In fact, I've been checking with the Tennessee Emergency Management here, and they've been telling us that it's not a wide swath of flooding or mudslides across the state. It's here, it's there. There's areas that are perfectly fine, large areas of the state. But then there are these areas like north of Nashville you referenced on Interstate 24, very busy. A couple of lanes blocked there. People are looking for alternate routes. The Tennessee Department of Transportation had to work long hours this weekend right up to the top trying to get, find crews who can get in there, not only remove the debris, but the bigger problem is stabilizing a really large hill that apparently had two different slides, one triggering the other. So that's a real problem, and we have more than two dozen slides around the state, I've been told. Aaron?
Chris, that's a lot. And as you look at these situations, and, again, they're case by case, but they all share a common theme of, and I talked a little bit with Alex about it, just desperation. There's desperate people. They need help. Looking at some of the images right now, describe to me the feelings of the folks there in Tennessee as now they are in this mode of desperation.
Well, you had, like this family, this woman I talked to, Gail Shelton was her name down in Moore County, who was the other woman on the other side of the creek, and she was taking it at a stride. She said, well, it's happened before, 40 years ago or something like that. It took 2 months for, to get the thing repaired, and there's questions about whether it's a county road, a state road, who's going to come repair it, finding someone to do it. She said, oh, we got a back way out here, and that means going up through the hills and out another road, but you're not going to be driving out of there. We were also in Lynchburg, home of Jack Daniel's whiskey. I'm sure perhaps you've heard of that. And
maybe.
The town square was near there was flooded. Jack Daniel's, the visitor center, was flooded. But going back to your question about desperation, I think, you know, as Alex, the person before me, you know, we find this throughout. Whenever there's a natural disaster, people really jump in. They forget. They may not like their neighbor very much, but boy, you know, when there's a natural disaster, they will be there to help them. Churches step in. We've been checking with the state to see what they're doing here, sending out water, cots, just stuff like that, everyday thing that people need. And that's, I'm sure you found that in Arkansas. We find that here in Tennessee.
We found it all through the South. Chris, thank you so much. Hope definitely shows up in desperation as well. Thanks for taking the time. We appreciate that. Obviously, weather is a huge concern as we continue to move forward into this week. Recovery is going to continue to happen. Restoration, rebuilding, all that will continue to happen as we get more of that info. Of course, we'll bring it to you right here on Newsfeed Now. Moving ahead, this weekend, a rash of violence in the South. In New Orleans, one person was shot and 3 hurt on Bourbon Street early Sunday morning. A man is in custody in Louisiana. In Mobile, Alabama, after a Mardi Gras parade, a 7-year-old girl and a 17-year-old young man shot. 2 teens in jail there. Nicolette Schleiserman has more from Alabama.
You can't beat it. Okay, down!
Get down! It's kind of confusing.
A night of fun. The sound of Mardi Gras and bands had just ended when gunfire erupted in downtown Mobile.
The people that were on the sidewalk here actually were, you know, climbing over the wall, you know, trying to get their babies and, you know, everybody out of the way.
David and his family were on the patio of El Papi in downtown celebrating a birthday until they started looking for cover.
Evidently, a gentleman ran towards the McDonald's and started shooting, and then turned around and ran back.
2 people were shot, a 17-year-old and a 7-year-old caught in the crossfire.
It was extremely busy because it was the end of the parade. There were people everywhere.
Several people came back to where they'd parked only to find bullet holes in their cars.
There's a bullet hole in the side of the car.
Tammy Arnold and her sister were visiting Mobile for the first and safest Mardi Gras in the South. It was their first time in the city, and they say this terrified them so much. Now, they don't want to come back.
I was excited to come here and everything. This kind of puts a damper on it.
A night meant for memories of beads and moon pies turned into a nightmare not soon forgotten.
Okay, down!
All right, Nicolette now joins us live from Mobile. Nicolette, you are right outside the courthouse where these teens likely be arraigned. Maybe some more information happens there. When you look at that video of that woman yelling at the people around her to get down, it's got to send chills down your spine, even though, again, we're supposed to be, you know, unbiased. We're the rock here in the media, but when things like this happen, it affects us.
I mean, it was a complete shock when I was talking to them on the patio. I was just trying to get, you know, people talking to me, maybe have witnessed it, not expecting to find any video. And they chimed in and said, we have video of it. We caught all the shots fired on camera. Do you want to see it? And I was like, yeah, I do. And I was watching it. And you can see they're just having a good time. And then all of a sudden, just fear takes over them, and you can see that in the background of people getting down, that woman just yelling at people to get down, and then eventually the phone dropping. It's pretty surreal, to say the least, to actually see that on camera.
All right, Nicolette, what's going to happen today in that courthouse behind you?
Well, the teens were maybe supposed to have been in court today, but they actually are going to be seen tomorrow instead. It's because they're 17, they're not 18 yet. There's some issues that they weren't able to get in the courthouse today, but they should be in court tomorrow for their initial hearing. We'll see what happens there, probably get some more details on the case as to maybe what exactly led to the shooting. We don't know that yet. We don't know why this happened in front of a ton of people in downtown Mobile.
Yeah, it's a scary situation, a lot going on there in that area. What are law enforcement agencies saying about the safety of that area today?
You know, they always take Mardi Gras very seriously. There's a lot of police on the streets during Mardi Gras, and things happen, and that's the sad part about it. Things do happen, but I know that police are taking this very seriously because it was right after the Mardi Gras parade had ended. A lot of people were downtown, so they're definitely taking it very seriously and going to be, you know, patrolling probably a little bit more in downtown after all of this happened.
Nicolette, thank you so much. Keep us up to date and let us know exactly what's happening in this case. We appreciate you taking the time. In every town around America, you'll find someone without a home, living in a car, on the street, or maybe in a cardboard box. In Little Rock, Arkansas, James Anderson was one of those homeless. In fact, for more than a decade, he lived on the streets, but his story was not going to stop there, even if his family across the country thought he was dead. You see, James got some help from a Good Samaritan to reunite him with loved ones hundreds of miles away.
Downtown we have quite a few homeless people, and we get to know them outside the courthouse. My husband also, sees them on a regular basis when he's driving on duty. And there was one in particular, James. I just one day decided to ask him, why are you homeless, James? And he informed me that he couldn't find his family. He didn't know how to find them, and he didn't know where to look. He had no resources. Looking up names, trying to find information. My husband was able to come up with some phone numbers. A young lady answered, and I said, my name is Dawn, I'm calling from Little Rock, calling in regards to your uncle. And she goes, he's dead, isn't he? No, he's alive and well, and he's been looking for you all. He's homeless. And we let him talk with his family that night. He met my husband at Children's, stayed with my husband there. He brought him to the house at 1:30 in the morning. We showered him. We told him to go in, take your shower, take as long as you want. It was the first time he had had a shower in 15 years. And we left out at 3 o'clock for Illinois.
Here's a man that needed help. And here we were, me and my wife, were able to help him and reunite him with his family. That's all that matters.
All right, Michael Esparza joins us now live from Little Rock. Michael, you found this story. You found this man. It's one of those really unique situations where sometimes the good in people shines through anything bad.
Yeah, that's right, Aaron. It was a really great story, a great find. This woman stopped, started talking to this homeless man, and really just took the time to listen to him. And I think that's the important message here. And then she discovered that he was not only homeless, but had no resources of getting in contact with his family that lived in Illinois. Had no money, didn't have a driver's license, had nothing on him. And her husband is a sergeant with the Pulaski County Sheriff's Department, and he went ahead and they got proper paperwork in order, spoke to the judge, and then drove him the 8 hours back to Illinois to meet his family.
Some 600 miles?
Yep, 652 miles to be exact.
That is that's a big gift. The reaction, tell me about the reaction when this man's family not only saw him once again, but realized that he wasn't dead.
Yes, so I mean, you can look at the video. When you're in the video, you'll actually see the woman, Dawn. She goes out and takes out her cell phone and shows the moment that the sister and niece reunite with him for the first time. And I mean, there's just tears or emotion. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps right now even talking about it. They were just so emotional because they thought that their uncle and brother were dead. And for me, that's a really big thing. And you could just see all the emotion in their faces.
Michael, what's next for him? I mean, is he going to stay in Illinois, or is he going to come back here to Arkansas?
Yeah, he's going to stay in Illinois. He's actually, right now he's working on his health. Obviously, both his dental and his actual health himself. Mm-hmm. He got shot when he was homeless, and so there's some gastro problems there that some doctors are looking at. So they're looking at that. But he wants to get back out there and work. He wants to keep a very low profile, a very private life now, and just loving spending time with his family every day.
Sounds good. Michael, thank you so much. Great story there. You can find much more on our website. Before we go, how many of you guys watched the Oscars last night? There was no host, but I didn't see a problem with that. A couple of upsets, the biggest being Best Picture not going to the front runner. Many thought was going to be Roma, but it was Green Book instead. But what everybody is talking about is the Shallow performance. And no, I'm not calling the performance shallow. The name of the song is Shallow. Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper. Matt Sewell, our producer, you're a huge fan of A Star is Born. Were we watching a relationship born?
Well, let's see. I think she just broke up with her ex-fiance. So the rumor is her and Bradley may be getting close.
Now, for what it's worth, Matt, Bradley does have a girlfriend. It's a Russian model. But that look right there, they're not just acting, right?
Now, if we could start the video over, there's one little moment here. Wait for it, boom, right there. Do you think she was trying to go in for a kiss?
No.
No?
No.
I say she was.
Not on stage, no. Here's my only thought in all of this, Matt, is that Bradley Cooper has said that Jackson Maine, the character he plays in the movie, is no more. He put it to bed. He wasn't going to act. So anybody who's telling me they're acting right now, that's proof they're not. He's not the character that's singing the song. He's Bradley Cooper singing the song.
Yeah, I also heard that he was pretty close to her when they sang in Vegas, so who knows?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we're just stirring the pot here at Newsfeed Now.
So while we're on the Oscars, Best Picture, do you agree with the Green Book?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I thought Black Klansman had a great shot, but I'm okay with it.
I was hoping for Bohemian Rhapsody, but...
Well, Rami Malek won Best Actor. Matt Sewell produces our show. Thank you so much. Make sure you follow Matt. It is M_Sewell, M_Sewell on Twitter. Thanks for joining us for Newsfeed Now. That's all the time we've got. We're going to do it again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even on Friday. So join us right here on your smartphone or your tablet. See you then.